This is the future. This is the time to do more. Give more. Help more. Be more. A future where more compassion and more empathy will make us more human. A future where more technologies and more digital platforms will help bring more people to safety and prosperity. Welcome to the future. Here, you can be more with us. Access, more than banking.
Hello, good evening, and welcome once again to another exciting moment of investment education. I'm Abayomi Obabulijo. We've got a lot to do today, and so we just have to move straight to the program because, for example, this is the month of October, and in a couple of days, as a matter of fact, less than 2 weeks from now, third quarter earnings should begin to rush into the market, and about the end of October we expect to see a lot of companies releasing their third quarter earnings to the market. Like I did say, if I'm not mistaken, probably last week or so, that when it comes to analysis of results being released to the market, third quarter reports is about, as far as I'm concerned, the most important, because now we're going to see the third quarter results being released to the market before the end of October, or at about the end of October, before we are going to be seeing another set of results, which will be audited report for companies that do have December as their year end. Is going to be after their audited report. Sometimes maybe it could be as long as February. If it is early, maybe about the end of January of 2022. In some organizations, particularly those that are highly regulated, for companies that will have or that might have issues with the regulator, the result will keep going forth and back, and it could take like 4 months. In other words, we might not begin to see audited reports of some companies in the market until around April. Now talking about October till April, we are talking about 6 months interval. Even if the results come in very early, or let's say end of January, we are talking about 2 plus 1. We are talking about 3 full months. In some cases, it could be February. We are talking about 4-5 months. So now, with the third quarter results, when they are eventually released, you can begin to see the possibilities in the audited reports. You will be able to know companies that can give good dividend. You will know companies that will not be able to give good dividend. So we did the third quarter expectation for a number of banks. I think we just left out a few. But today we are going to be focusing on those companies that are real manufacturers. They include Fixing, Dangote Cement, Bua, Dangote Sugar, Lafarge. It includes May and Baker, and quite a number of manufacturers. All right, you need to stay tuned from the beginning of this program now to the end, and you will do me a favor, call a friend, call a family member, call a colleague, let them tune in right away, because of course it's going to be a session between myself or Aruna Kebira and myself alone. Malan Kurufi just told us less than 30 minutes ago that is indisposed today. He has running nose, to be specific, all right? But don't worry, it's going to be an explosive session. Aruna and myself really argue so much, but we'll still bring about the best of the program today. I will go on a short break. When we return, it will be an explosive session of investment education. Don't change this dial.
With star 901 hash, you have the freedom to do more. Get a loan, transfer money from Access Bank to any bank, buy airtime on all mobile networks, check your account balance, open a new account, inquire about your BVN, change your PIN, and generate your bank statements. Star 901 hash is convenient, simple to use, requires no data, and can be done on the go. Just dial star 901 hash to get started. Access, more than banking.
Welcome back. Please join me in welcoming Aruna Kebira. He is the Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of Global View Capital Limited. Aruna, you are welcome.
Good evening.
You are looking very, very attractive. I'm sure you have started eating some of the proceeds of particularly FBNH, the kind of growth we saw in it last week.
I think the market is becoming good. We said that a broker from the song he sings when he's coming back home. When the market is good, he will sing Eba Big Bokbe. But by the time he's singing, I'm not giving up, I'm not done. You know that something has happened to him.
Very much like when we were in the primary school back in days, that when you have good reports, you are very happy, you show it. But when you have very bad or poor result, you hide your result.
You'll be hibernating.
And so when they ask you where is your report, you say, Mama Mupasi, and all right, Aruna, you are welcome.
Thank you.
Like I did say, it's going to be a session between Aruna and me. All right, let's take off Aruna. Lafarge Africa. They say, according to the report at the market arena, they are considering interim dividend to shareholders. According to the report, meeting of the board of directors of the company has been scheduled to hold on Wednesday, 27th October 2021. The meeting is to consider the third quarter financial results of the company for the quarter ended 30th of September 2021. Payment of interim dividend may also be considered at the meeting. Now, Aruna, I put it to you, what is the possibility in the third quarter results to be considered? Of course, we are still going to be talking about it in the course of this presentation. Maybe before
one of the things I would just want to first of all notice is a number of issuers coming to pay interim dividend. I think it's a good development in the market. But when we are looking at Lafarge WAPCO, what you can just see there, where I know that what they are talking about can actually be achieved, is that that close period is from 1st of October and is going to lapse on 24 hours after the release of the result. And there's a growth of 21% of the earning per share from quarter 1 to quarter 2, 1.45 kobo to 1.76 kobo. That is about 21%. And if that is constant, there's every possibility that quarter 3 they will be able to do like 2.12 kobo. And it is a company that they pay 1 naira 2019, they pay 1 naira 2019. In fact, they pay 1 naira over a very long time. And if out of the 2.12 kobo, if they are able to achieve it, they are paying 50 kobo. They still come back and pay 1 naira at final. I think they have broken a record. And I'm not sure that they may likely stop at pay 50 kobo out of 2 naira 12 to at least maybe 60 kobo, 70 kobo. I think the market will
I don't know what is the attraction in interim dividend. Couldn't we just hold on until at the end the audit report is released and we get our dividend?
No, you see, we have different type of investors in the market, especially those that are pensioners. What they depend on is dividends. So wherever that is available, they go and take it. And it is even believed now that anybody have taken position in WAPCO as we speak when the interim dividend is declared. Even this news of a probable interim dividend might actually be pushing it even beyond the 30 kobo. Sorry, I don't know how much they are going to pay beyond the interim dividend that they may likely pay. So they will go and take it and then move their resources to wherever they can get another dividend.
And from what I'm seeing here on the indicators, out of about 12 trading sessions, WAPCO really has grown in price at least in about 9 sessions plus or minus, and it is currently heading towards the topmost price level before it begins to adjust down a little bit. But what will your suggestion or advice be to investors now? Should they invest more? Should they just hold on? Because the price really has grown so well to 23 naira 35 kobo as at last week Friday.
But this is stock that have done 34 naira before. So at least they received the upward potential between 23 naira and 34 naira. I believe that what I should advise is take position. If it is possible that they pay eatery dividend and their final is just around the corner, like I said, if they pay like 50 kobo, I come back and pay another 1 naira, then they have broken a record.
All right, we go to Adova. This company, AP, from African Petroleum to Forte Oil, and from Forte Oil back to AP, but not African Petroleum now, but Adova PLC. All right, according to the reports at the market arena, Adova PLC plans to raise 22 billion naira in bond. They also plan to raise a total of 60 billion naira in bond. The bond is subdivided into tranche A and tranche B offerings, which with maturity periods of 7 and 10 years respectively. From AP to FO and back to AP, like I said, how will you describe performance of Adova since they took over from Forte Oil?
Yeah, actually, Adova has not done like Forte Oil. Maybe one because of, what we normally talk about fundamentals. It has to do with who is at the forefront, who is running the organization. And I believe that by the time FO pulled out and it now became Adova, we have not seen that performance.
All right.
In Adova.
Now, Aruna, with this, they are coming to raise 60 billion in all. The first tranche now, 22 billion naira. Do you think the management has got the capacity to manage this kind of funds?
From the news that they made available outside, I think they will need it. Like we have always said, they want to increase their capacity. Like what they said, they have 450 retail outlets. They have their Nigeria leading provider of aviation fuel. The manufacturer and distribute one range of quality lubricant. They are the sole authorized distributor of Texaco that we all know. And they even come and said that they have a subsidiary that is involved in haulage and transportation. I believe that they actually need the money to increase their capacity.
But they should have shown out their capacity with their results ever since they took over from Forte Oil.
One of the things that can create result is liquidity, working capital. Chances are that the liquid capital is not, the working capital is not there to lap on that.
We wait to see how this plays out in months to come. NGX Group to list on the NGX. They are coming to list with themselves. A total of 1,964,155,918 shares are expected to be admitted to trading, and the shares will trade under the ticker NGX Group to list by introduction. Why did they go first to the NASD before now coming to the market?
Nigeria Stock Exchange was limited by guarantee. So when they now giving the shares to the members of the exchange, like the stockbrokers and others, then it became a limited company. As at that time, it could not have been listed. And they knew that a number of trading license holders at that time, maybe they would want to have access to liquidity. So that was why they went and listed it on NASDAQ. And NASDAQ is where shares in private companies can list their shares for sale. So as at that time, it was a private company.
All right. But from what I can say on the NASD was that their price after listing actually came down drastically. All right. Is there going to be any improvement now that they are coming to the main market?
Yes, I suppose so. It was listed at 25 naira. It got to all-time high of 13 naira 26 kobo and came down to all-time low of 12 naira 98 kobo. But this announcement, as at Thursday, Friday, the stock was not available. Most of the unit that you saw were just closed because on Friday was the last trading day. I believe by the time it is brought to the NGX, one is create liquidity. You know what happened in OTCs over the counter. Most of them were negotiated, but now you can actually trade it like trade other stock. I believe there will be more price discovery in NGX than it was.
Right, we wish the Nigerian Exchange Group success. We wish them good luck as they come to trade and begin to trade in the main market. We come to the Nigerian economy now. The President Muhammadu Buhari presents 16.39 trillion naira 2022 budget to the National Assembly, and according to him, the federal government will be borrowing a total of 6.258 trillion naira to finance the deficit budget. The appropriation bill tagged a budget of economic growth and sustainability. Government currently owes 35.465 trillion naira. This will now increase to well over 41 trillion naira if we just depend on the revenues that we get, even though our revenues have increased. The operational expenditure of government, including salaries and other overheads, is barely covered or swallowed up by the revenue. That is what the finance minister actually said. Are we safe in this country?
You see, by this borrowing, our debt will increase to 51.85 trillion, which is about 31.6% increase. Like, it's frightful. It has got it to a level that becomes frightful. The question is that you borrow, when are we going to pay? Except if maybe at the end of the day that we can go for debt forgiveness like we did previously, if they will agree. You can discover that for every budget year we borrow to finance the deficit. The question is, when are we going to pay back? Are we not mortgaging the life of our yet unborn? It's frightful.
What will be your suggestion?
In fact, I don't have any suggestion.
You are an economist.
I don't have any suggestion.
So
the question
as an economist, you don't have anything.
The question is like what they said, that the revenue that is coming is not enough to even take care of the recurrent expenditure. So that is why it is very frightful.
We pray for Nigeria. We will survive. I will go on a short break. When we return, we'll be looking at the market majorly. Don't change this channel.
First Money is Nigeria's biggest and most preferred agent banking network. Thanks to First Money, millions of people are living their dreams. Meet some First Money agents who are driving this.
First Money is the best POS that we use in my area. I started with one container beside me. This is my main branch. I have up to 7 branches.
With First Money, I've been able to employ 6 staffs, which 5 are female. So I see First Money as a business to employ and also to empower ladies.
Through First Money, over 1 million people across Nigeria have their financial services needs met daily. In all the accessible local government areas, you are bound to find First Money agents. With First Money, we're bringing financial inclusion and the many benefits that come with it. You first. First Bank.
Welcome back. Aruna, the market last week gained 1.61%, talking about the NGX All-Share Index. The market capitalization was up 1.62%, volume was down 0.34%, deals up, this is fantastic, 56.01%, suggesting that there were lots of speculation, I guess. The value also grew by 35.71%. Aside from volume, all other indicators ended the week in the green, right? What would you say?
I would say that the deals grew because of speculation. I would call it that the number of people were coming to the market.
Anyway,
I think that was
most of them, I think, speculation. Anyway, that's my opinion.
One of the things I just, this is, like you said, we are in October in a little...
Positioning for third quarter.
Yes, and like, we have been looking at it that second quarters, though it was missed, but a lot of second quarter results were very fantastic. Good, yeah. And from the analysis we did last week, it will be seen that there is going to be a lot of growth across board. So people are already taking position in lieu of that.
If that is the case, what stocks do you think will drive most likely performances this week?
I will say that BOA is still trading, is showing 66 on the ticker, but it's trading 62.60. I believe that can spring surprises. It has been down for a very long time. There's a way that this stock, when they go down, they recover. During the week, I saw
BOA is now actually down. It does not just move.
It's not moving.
Because it's not also declining.
That just be there. I saw Okomo touching 123 during the week before settling down at 115. It has the possibility of going back.
Okomo is showing downward trend anyway, though one or two indicators are showing that it might likely.
Presco is also there.
Presco, yeah. Let me look at what Presco is doing. Yeah, Presco is up there and is currently flat. Before this stock moves further, I think it should actually come down a little bit. All right, let's just leave that. We still talk. We still have a lot of things to do. All right, looking at the percentage gainers last week, UPL, what was the story behind it? It grew 28.4%.
I think it was just the market
sentiment.
Momentum and sentiment.
Right, but at the current level of university price, will you advise that it is still advisable for it to be bought?
28% gain in a week, I don't think it has even made the stock unattractive. Yes, I will say that. It does not make the stock unattractive.
Right, but as I can see, the stock got to the highest level and then began to slide a little bit and recovered again. There's something in this equity. Maybe some people had seen something that we are not seeing, but we'll still talk about that. We investigate, and you can be rest assured that we're definitely going to tell you what the I think it could still move maybe 1 or 2 days in the course of this new week FBNA.
The big elephant. You know, we have, I think overstretched the discussion concerning the big elephant, but I think that what is working for you, I think about 3 weeks ago we saw a volume of 476 million, which was done off market, and during the week we saw 473 million, which was done at 16 naira. And though people are saying that that has been done before, I believe that is just a pointer to the fact that this is where the price should be, because somebody don't want to come in while he can get it on the floor at 10 naira, is buying it at a premium of 6 naira. I think it will have seen value in it that the market is not yet seeing.
But I'm thinking that does not necessarily mean that we're going to see the price at 16 naira.
No, it might not be. It might not get to 16.
Because from what I'm seeing now, the price might actually adjust down, because first FBN is having the market, people have it. And so it's never going to sustain geometric price growth at a consistent level. So there is going to be intermittent profit taking in it, and then after this profit taking, we see it back up again. And
the day that announcement was made, they got to 10 naira 65 kobo, and people are still holding that at 10 naira 65 kobo, who might actually not sell when they get to 10 naira 65 kobo. So though it might not do 10%, 5% a day, but I can say.
And because of the week, that was about the highest price it got to.
Yes.
All right. Will you say recommend that we should buy more or hold on, or we quickly take some of our profit and then we come back again?
No, at a price lower than 10 naira, 990, 10 naira, I would recommend First Bank.
So now the 16 naira is about the price we should be targeting now?
Yes, because it's a price that have happened somewhere that the market might want to go to, if not exactly to 16 naira, maybe somewhere close.
I don't know, the market already gets to hear that Cordville will be delisting, and yet the price is moving.
You know what, I think when Cordville came to do their fight behind the figure, I can't remember the year, they make us to understand that they will have, they are the auto reg. They make us to understand that they had only Lagos State on their platform. I believe that by now, from what the result is showing for 2021, it's like they have found inroads to many state governments. That might actually be one of the reasons why they want to delist. Their quarter 2, they grew 1,772%, and before they delist, they are going to sit on their quarter 3, which might actually hit the market before the delisting. So that is what the market is looking at, because if you look at the
is it available?
It's available.
Will you advise somebody to quickly?
Yes, if you see, after when the information was hit the market, it got from 35 kobo to 33 kobo. I got to 44 kobo, then it came back and relaxed to 29 kobo. I think it closed a market, I think 41 kobo on Friday. I believe what I believe the market is thinking is that the listing might be done at 50 kobo.
And because as I'm seeing here, the price is actually coming down. Maybe possibly if somebody wants to buy, maybe somebody can get it below 41 kobo, where it closed last Friday.
Between 39 and 41
Universal Insurance PLC. This equity was among highest gainer last week, Univ, right? So what do you think is behind it?
If you look at, I've told you about this. This insurance is just 2 kobo. That is
just 2 kobo, yeah?
Yes, and 2 kobo can be done by 100,000 units and by one deal. That is why I say that this stocks that trade below 50 kobo, their gain and their losses
The equity actually moved twice in the course of the week, gained 5% to 21 kobo, and gained 4.8% to 22 kobo.
Which can be done 100,000 at each of those movements.
All right, Japan Gold is refusing to sustain a decline. What do you think is sustaining it?
It's speculation, but I believe that by and large it will succumb to the outcome of its results. It got to 48 kobo, 44 kobo, it's reversed to 48 kobo. I believe that with time it will.
I think Japan, if the management has the opportunity of listening or watching now, I think they have their third quarter report to buy back their image. We expected positive result from them to reflect their new status, gold miner, so to speak, and they disappointed the market. Okay, but the market really has not punished them, though it got to about 168 kobo before declining to the current low price where it is. But I think now we expect them to show that really the confidence reposed in them is justified by bringing in positive third quarter report. Let's look, or you have anything to say before we look at the losers in the course of the week? Cornerstone Insurance was down 12.07%, Morrison 10%, BOC Gases 9.87%, Regency Alliance 9.09% decline. Now, talking about some of those equities that declined that I can see, Honeywell. Would you say the party is over? Because what we saw was also a marginal decline, so to speak, 5.32%. But as far as we are concerned, a loss is a loss, no matter how.
Yes, a loss is a loss. But I don't think. I think what is happening in Honeywell is people are taking profit while they are waiting for the next move. I think that's exactly what's happening.
If Malam were to be around, this question would have been thrown to him to answer. Mansard, in the course of the week, still lost, though marginal. But it seems to be relatively stable now because the decline was not sharp. It still lost 2.1% approximately on Friday. It is currently selling at 2.31 kobo.
You see, there is a way the market behaves. That stock was listed back at 3.32 kobo. And the market believed that by the time we go to 230, they will look at the percentage, and a number of speculators will think that when they're moving, that they can get that advantage. I think that is why it says be held at that price that is traded today. And
I can tell you that this shows indeed that share reconstruction has not favored this company. Because it was listed at 3.32 kobo. As at today, it has lost more than 1 naira 1 kobo.
It's even better for Mansard.
Yes, to a large extent.
It's better for Mansard.
Maybe when their third quarter earnings get to the market and it met market expectation, maybe the price can rally back.
Yes.
And then we wait to see.
But if not, the market will further punish
it. Anyway, before we go on short break, let's begin to look at the earnings expectation. The first company we are going to look at is Fissing. As you see, what we are doing here is not common on any media platform, either television or radio or newspaper or whatever, or online. It is very uncommon. Now, every market in the world, the way the market operates is that before earnings are released to the market, there must be an expectation. When you send your children to school, you have an expectation. So when you are investing your money in any stock, you must have an expectation. And I've said it and I will continue to say it, not for want of what to say, but for repetition so that I will make sense ultimately. Because when repetition continues, it begins to make sense and it becomes the truth that investment in equity is always against an expectation. It's always against a futurity. In other words, there must be a reason as to why you are buying a stock. When somebody approaches you, waking you up very early in the morning and say, why are you investing in a particular stock? You must be able to say this and this are the reasons. Not necessarily based on what they have done in the past. You should be able to project all that they have been able to do in the past to the future. Because you are investing today to gain tomorrow. And that is why what we are doing now is very critical, very important. And I'm very sure you are still going to have access to this. Right? We'll make it maybe company by company depending on how my team decides to go about it on our website, stocksng.com, NG as in Nigeria.com. When you go there, you can actually look at their second quarter reports, look at all the presentations we made about them, and then you look at how they have been able to grow. So we arrive at whatever we are giving you now by looking at their first quarter, second quarter, and then up to the third quarter for a period of 5 years globally. There's nobody that will tell you anything about any organization until they have been able to analyze and see what those organizations or institutions are able to do over a period of 5 years. This is what we have done. And then when we look at the PEG ratio, which is the relationship between price and the earnings growth rate, because if you look at a company's earnings over a period of 5 years, statistically you should be able to arrive at the earnings growth rate. When you get to know what the earnings growth rate is, then you should be able to project based on the earnings growth rate you have discovered and the last earning they discovered, or that they declared rather. And that is what we have deployed here. We might not necessarily get the earnings yet 100%. They may perform below. That is the way it works in the global market, such that when a company releases its result and it is according to what is being expected, they say it meets market estimate. If it is higher, they say it beats market estimate. If it is below, they say it underperforms market estimate. This is what we are projecting. I'm very sure in a matter of years from now, if not months, others will begin to join, but we start first. That is why our name is StocksWatch. I don't know. We look at FitSyn Healthcare. I can tell something is definitely happening in this organization, and the market is actually discounting it. Otherwise, I would have expected FitSyn to have been doing more than what it is currently doing. As I see on the floor of the NGX now at about 6 naira 6 kobo. Our projection is 80 kobo from 47 kobo last year. And you see, this is informed by the fact that for the second quarter, from 24 kobo in 2020 COVID year, they moved to 57%, which was more than 100%. And then their fourth quarter was so dramatic, from 7 kobo in COVID year to 28 kobo. That is talking about 300%. Now, with this, we are expecting 87 kobo. And not that alone, the current price of 6 naira 6 kobo, we are expecting the PE ratio for the third quarter to be 12.89. And then the earnings growth rate at 85.18. We didn't use 100%. We have seen more than 100%, but we didn't use that, all right, because again, we have to adjust for the previous years also. So the PEG ratio is 0.15. Fantastic. I don't know. What do you have to say?
You see why the market actually not be looking at the direction of fixing at the market expectation. You know, during at the advent of COVID-19, it was expected that all the pharmaceutical companies are going to be the net beneficiary. It was believed that by the time the government got franchise to manufacture COVID-19 vaccines, that those that have WHO standard facilities, which FitSyn belong to. And the market is not seeing it, and I don't think even in the mind of the market that may be possible. I think that is why the market just left it the way it is, even with that good performance, and the market is looking for other things to do.
And there must have been certain things that have been responsible for the kind of growth we see in their earnings.
You know, what they are into pharmaceuticals, which means that they will have broken a line which is acceptable, and that is why they are turnover, and there was a growth in that turnover which dovetailed to their earning per share. But why, you know, you were complaining that why has it been abandoned? Yeah. So I'm just telling you why it has just been left. And if by tomorrow that you hear that government have secured a franchise to produce vaccine, forget about FitSyn, Nimet, and May and Baker.
Right, we now come to May and Baker. Now that you mentioned them, for May and Baker, there was a change of management, as a matter of fact, as of January this year. But from what I can see, particularly from the first quarter, which was the first result released by the new management, the new managing director, right, there was an improvement of 2 kobo to 14 kobo. And then it did not stop at that. The second quarter, it got 32 kobo from 25 kobo. All right, we are projecting 67 kobo. What are the possibilities in here? Seeing also that the PEG ratio, the earnings growth rate has been 68.18% over a period of 5 years, and the PEG ratio is 0.17.
Do you know what normally happens at change of guard? Is that the person that is coming in will be at the background or watching all what will be happening, and be having some suggestions. Chances are that even most of the suggestions that was pushed to the table were not adopted. So when he had when he or she have the ability of the opportunity of putting those and implementing it, and that is the result that we are seeing.
And but from what I can say, the new managing director, I can't readily get his name now. If I check my phone, I'll get it. I actually came in from outside. It was not an executive director, but I can tell a pharmacist too, he really has done well. What that will tell me, if I'm not mistaken, as an analyst, is that he met a structure on ground, and then he is only building on the existing structure. Yes, Mr. Odumosu, when he was leaving, he handed over to what is his name now? And it's unfortunately, these are not names I'm supposed to be forgetting, but sometimes you just Mr. Okafor. Yes, Okafor. So Okafor really did well, right? Strategized, but it means that there is something in Miambeka they are only building on it, because almost as soon as it took over, we are seeing improvement.
He brought his strategy to meet a structured environment.
Okay. Now, with that, will you advise investment in Miambeka? Though I can see on the chart here that it is in price, not in performance, in price. It might adjust down this week.
Well, it has been in this region for long, 4.74 kobo. I think maybe by the time the Q3 result is out, Miambeka still have upward potential of growth.
All right, we've got to go on a short break. When we return, we'll be looking at Dangote Cement, we'll be looking at BUA, we'll be looking at Lafarge Wako. Don't change this channel. Welcome back. Aruna, we go straight to Dangote Cement. Dangote Cement, we are expecting something in the region of 13-14 naira third quarter earnings, from 11 naira 21 kobo in the second quarter. It was 12 naira 25 kobo. That is the third quarter for 2020. In this company, Aruna, looking at their PE ratio, 22.86, very high. Earnings growth rate, 10.79%, very low, which suggests that the profit margin in this business is low. The PEG ratio, not favorable, 2.12. Right. In this company, we saw share buyback. Yet, the earnings and price are not on the same level. The price has gone so well, 280 naira. Expected PE ratio and all this not favorable. How good can we say the company is?
What I would just say about Dangote Cement is what is in its favor is market sentiment and the strength of the brand. It's a very strong, and this where it is, high cap stock. I don't think the movement of the price of Dangote is actually depending on its earnings. It's market sentiment. Even the share buyback actually has no. I don't think that they have completed it, and I don't think that would have have no significant effect on the earnings and the outstanding shares. So I just believe that they have good market sentiment, and
how high do you think sentiment can push the price of the stock?
It has always hold it. Either like maybe I should measure that of GTCO even after their outing in their Q2. And the price I would say is 28 naira plus. Sentiment is the market sentiment that is holding it at that level.
In other words, if I want to invest, aside the earnings, sentiment is one of the critical factors.
Very, very. If it's strong, I think it is. If it is strong,
And I think why the sentiment seems to be there is that, number one, the equity might be concentrated in the hands of a few people that will most likely not sell, notwithstanding whatever the price is.
Yes, and maybe you can easily not break it down. You might have the power of breaking it down because you won't have that volume to break it down.
But such equity, you don't readily advise fresh investment in it.
The only good thing about such equity is that they stabilize your portfolio. Like you can see this Dangote at this 280 might be there for the next 1 month.
Right. We leave Dangote, but you are not. Are you advising fresh investment in Dangote Cement?
At 280, I still have. If you ask me, I have the belief that they can still do more than this. Yes.
Upon all that we have said now about the low earnings expectation.
But if the sentiment move in its favor, it will go higher than this.
The indicators are now actually saying it will move higher. BUA, you mentioned BUA the other time. We're expecting 1 naira 95 kobo earning. Why? 66 kobo first quarter earning 2021. 1 naira 28 kobo earning per share 2021. All right. 158 kobo earning per share third quarter 2020. We are projecting 1 naira 95 kobo. All right. The PEG ratio is 1.78, still not favorable. Earnings growth rate 23.44%, PE ratio 41.77. I don't know. Is this also attractive?
If we look at the price, yes, because this is not its all-time high. This is not 52-week high price of the market, and most of the things that are working against BUA was the consolidation they did and the enlarged outstanding that they have. I believe that if you ask me, it's a stock that over time they'll be able to recover and grow higher than this.
No, the consolidation would not have affected their earnings. What I can see in this company is that their earnings is not improving.
I'm talking about earning per share because of their outstanding.
All right.
Because of the outstanding shares that they have, and I believe that when you take position in it over time, they'll be able to make enough earnings to justify.
Right. This or Dangote, which one would you prefer?
I would prefer BUA.
BUA.
Yes.
Why BUA?
That's my opinion.
Personal opinion.
Yes. Why? Because Dangote just moved to 280. Like BUA was 68, from 68 it moved to 66. I'm not saying it dropping less than 60. I think the only thing I look at it is even BUA going up. It has done 80 before.
We now come to Lafarge WAPCO because these are the major cement companies in Nigeria. 1 naira 82 kobo is our expectation for the third quarter. And as a matter of fact, they would do definitely more than that because they are already giving 1 naira 76 kobo as at the second quarter from 57 kobo in the first quarter. Right? 1 naira 75 kobo was the earning per share for the third quarter in 2020. The price is very low, 23 naira 35 kobo. Right? PE ratio 13.34, which is far better than the PE ratio, expected PE ratio in BUA and Dangote. And the earnings growth rate very low, 4.28%, because there is keen competition in that industry, really. PEG ratio 3.52. All right. So what will you say?
What I've kept Lafarge.
And now they want to do interim.
I think if they do interim, actually further improve the performance of their price. But what I've seen there is because of the issues that they've had. They are just coming out of the woods.
It reflected in what we are showing here. You take your time to look at those things.
They are just coming out of the woods.
Loss at a time, negative earning per share 6 naira 89 kobo. At a time, negative 1 naira 22 kobo. So they will lose and then come back up and then lose. But since 2019, they've been consistent. Right?
Yes, I think why we won't see them lose again is that they dispose of their subsidiary in South Africa to remove the finance cost influence in their books, and since that has been expunged, that is why we are seeing going forward. I'm not sure we'll be seeing them going down again. That is even the reason why they can even talk about paying interim dividend.
Now, Haruna, let me ask you now, from BUA, Lafarge WAPCO, Dangote Cement, all in the same industry, which one is
if you talk about price, I will go for Lafarge. Because if you look at it, you asked me between Dangote and BUA. I said BUA because of the price. If you are not looking at the three of them because of Lafarge, after the trainer, I will go for Lafarge.
And as a matter of fact, for the, small investors like me, Lafarge is better for us because it's only a matter of time.
It will catch up with the rest.
Even if it does not catch up, it will definitely rally higher. So it is higher. It is easier for Lafarge to grow 100% and get to 45 naira, 47 naira, than Dangote to gain 100% and get to 560 naira. That is just investment strategy for you. Nestle, one of the king of price on the floor of the NGX, 44 naira 96 kobo is what we are projecting. Their PE ratio 36.73 at a price of 1,480. Now, what is with price and PE ratio? It's like when the price of a stock rises to a level, the earnings will not be able to catch up with it anymore. At that, the future possibility of earnings must have been imputed into the. At that, is it still advisable for fresh investors?
So, you know, P ratio means price all over earnings. So, and earnings is the denominator. And as price is growing, then the solution to the question becomes smaller because the earnings is not growing as much as the price is growing. And like I said, in fact, if you talk about settlement and maybe the holding structure, is seriously in favor of Nestle. But if you ask me...
Even if the float is not there, the outstanding number of shares is low.
And if you ask me...
They rarely give bonuses.
Whether we like it or not...
And they can give all their earnings as dividend at the end of the day.
While I was trying to market stockbroking to somebody, I used Nestle. And I asked him, you left your house this morning. Can you tell me that either you, your wife, your children did not use anything from Nestle?
It's not possible.
And he told me, said it's not possible. He drank Milo. Sorry, I'm not making advert, but that is what is in
Maybe if he didn't take Milo, his kids.
Or what about what the spices they used to cook? What about so
the seasoning?
The seasoning will come from Nestle. I think that is what is working seriously in favor of Nestle.
Okay, but I think the best strategy is to take your time, look for another Nestle in the making. The best time I was in the market, I knew when Nestle was under 10 naira. I knew when it got to 100 naira and it came back again. I knew when. So I think the best strategy in equity investment is to discover another company that will perform like this.
In 2011, Nestle was 400 naira. When the market has issued, Nestle came back to 500.
So that is the strategy. There are so many things we still do on this platform by the special grace of God. But let us look at NASCON, another Dangote company actually. 92 kobo is our expectation for the third quarter. And what's the potential in this company? Where should I buy it? Seeing that the earnings don't seem to be consistent.
You know, one of the
from 62 kobo to 153 kobo, then return back to low 143 kobo, return low to 76 kobo, and then begin to build it in the end is not.
What determines most earning per share is the top line, then less administrative expenditure and the rest. But you should understand now that the level at which the world is, we are even asked not to eat salt. And this is what they are selling. A number of people are trying to run away from salt.
And that is at the consumption level for household use, but for industrial use.
Let me ask you. There's even a reason. I don't want to mention this biscuit that they use salt to spice. A number of people that have BP won't go for it because they will say that
everyone of us I don't eat biscuit anyway, but
they are consuming what can induce or aggravate their BP level.
All right, we come to Dangote Sugar. Why I will prove you wrong with all what you have said now is that Dangote Sugar is not actually doing badly. Because as much as those that with high BP will not want to eat salt, those with diabetes and high blood sugar will want to run away from sugar. But Dangote Sugar is not doing badly. From expected earning third quarter of 2.78 kobo, I can tell you among all these companies that we have seen, their PEG ratio is very positive at 0.29. Their PE ratio is very positive at 7.95. The earnings growth rate is is averagely okay at 27.07. Because I can tell you, aside from domestic use of sugar, there's also the industrial use. Because you see, all those drugs that kids take, they have to put a lot of sugar. Because if kids don't take enough sugar, they will not even, if those drugs don't taste well. So in most companies, I can tell you that I doubt if Dangote Sugar is able to meet the demand. All right. So this company is doing well. Okay. So generally, will you say it is still advisable to consider Dangote Sugar?
Did you say the contraction was trying to make between sugar and salt?
Salt.
You can see the use of sugar, but you cannot use salt in that wise. But I believe there is attraction in Dangote Sugar.
Because most people want to say they are running away from Dangote Sugar because of the domestic use. Many people, particularly people within the age bracket of you and me, who want to say that, oh, sugar, we are running away from it and things like that. But the truth is that our kids need a lot of sugar, even for the development.
That means sugar have more use than that of salt.
It does. It does. It does. All right. More diversified use. And I can tell that the demand is very high, particularly from pharmaceutical industries. All right. Okay. Now that is Dangote Sugar. But in the interim, I see the price coming down, particularly in the week. But I think Dangote Sugar is, with these expectations that I'm seeing, I think Dangote Sugar is one of the equities that we should consider, that anybody should consider, not just for the short term, but for a long term. We come to Okomu. After Okomu, we will only be able to do Presco, and then we round off for today, if time permits. So we've got to be a little bit fast. Aruna, okay, for Okomu, I don't know what the attraction here is really, because if you want to talk, we talk Okomu, Malam will talk Okomu, most brokers will talk Okomu. I have not seen what the attraction here is. Because if you look at the earnings growth rate, that is, it's just 4.58. Very, very marginal. You look at the PE ratio, 22.04. Not favorable. You look at the PEG ratio. It means that the price is even too high because future price potentials have been built into this. So it is only those that had bought earlier than now that will be gaining in this company. I don't know. What do you have to say? Maybe.
You know, we have been talking about Okomu, and I think do you know that they cannot meet the market demand of their palm oil?
I know, but it's not reflecting in their result.
It is at 10 naira for the 6 kobo.
You are. But the expectation is 10 naira 46 kobo. Look at their price.
They do 10 naira quarter 2.
we have to.
They do 10 naira quarter 2. You are expecting that this projection is too poor for Okomu. I'm seeing Okomu even do better than this. And one of the things that actually work for Okomu is their dividend payout policy.
Unfortunately, we cannot talk about Presco because, again, I wouldn't wait until we are yanked off before we go. We have to just respect the opinion. We have to respect the opinions of those who are our overseer and our directors and controllers. Aruna, I want to say a very big thank you. All right.
Thank you for having me.
It has been a session, very explosive, very informative, very educative. Like I did say, you can also have access to all this via our website, stocksng.com. You also can call Aruna at any time in the night for as long as your phone is not on silent, so that you can just take it off from whatever you are getting to hear here. I want to say a very big thank you to the management of Lagos Television. I want to say a very big thank you to the staffers of Lagos Television, and I want to say kudos to my own team. Well done. All right. By the special grace of God, we will be back with you at another time. Until then, I remain yours sincerely in wealth creation, its accumulation, and preservation. Abayomi Obabulijo is my name. God bless you. Enjoy your weekend. Or enjoy the rest of your week.
First Money is Nigeria's biggest and most preferred agent banking network. Thanks to First Money, millions of people are living their dreams. Meet some First Money agents who are driving this.
First Money is the best POS that we use in my area. I started with one container beside me. This is my main branch. I have up to 7 branches.
With First Morning, I've been able to employ 6 staffs, which 5 are female. So I see First Morning as a business to employ and also to empower ladies.
Through First Money, over 1 million people across Nigeria have their financial services needs met daily. In all the accessible local government areas, you are bound to find First Money agents. With First Money, we're bringing financial inclusion and the many benefits that come with it. You first, First Bank.
Some dreams are big. Some dreams are small. Some dream to go from place to place. Dreams of love and ever after. Dreams and sacrifices that builds the future. Whatever the dream, or step, or journey, you can do more with a partner that cares about your dreams. Access, more than banking.